Whatever happened to Titus Young? You know, the guy who had a couple mental issues? If you want to believe it or not, he was actually a decent, or some Lions fans would say, actually a good receiver who played for the Lions in Boise State. But before that, he actually played defensive back at University High School in Los Angeles before going to Boise State in 2007. He had 204 receptions and 3,063 yards and 25 touchdowns in his collegiate career, the most in school history at the time, including 71 receptions for 1,215 yards and 9 touchdowns in 2010. Titus Young was frequently in trouble during his time at Boise State. He frequently missed workouts and argued with coaches. He was forced to sit out the first quarter of the 2007 Hawaii Bowl for an undisclosed violation of team rules. On October 11, 2008, Broncos head coach Chris Peterson suspended Young for at least 3 games, again for an undisclosed violation of team rules. 2 weeks later, Peterson extended the suspension indefinitely. In Peterson's words, I quote, "Young and the Broncos just need some time apart. He didn't play again for the rest of the season." Titus Young declared himself eligible for the 2011 NFL Draft despite his considerable talent concerns about his behavior. One pre-draft training facility reportedly kicked him out just hours after he showed up due to his poor attitude, which led to many NFL teams passing him up in the 2011 NFL Draft. Now, Titus Young had pre-draft measurables of height of 5'11 and 3/8, weighed in at 174 pounds, ran a 40-yard dash in 4.39, a 10-yard split in 1.5, 20-yard split in 2.6, a 20-yard shuttle in 4.3, a 3-cone drill in 6.85, a vertical of 35 inches, a broad jump of 10 inches. After making the 2011 roster, Young was primarily used as the team's second wide receiver and played frequently in 3 wide receiver sets. On October 30th, in a 45-10 defeat of the Denver Broncos, Titus Young caught 4 passes for 66 yards, including his first professional receiving touchdown. He caught 2 passes for a touchdown in a 45-41 loss to the Green Bay Packers on New Year's Day. Titus Young was named the Lions Detroit Sports Broadcasters Association's Rookie of the Year for 2011. However, his personality changed dramatically as the season wore in. He was noticeably quieter than he had been earlier on in the season, and he became increasingly undisciplined on the field. This accumulated in a Week 13 game against the New Orleans Saints, where he shoved safety Malcolm Jenkins in the face, drawing an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. He was benched for the rest of the game. There were other less public incidents that led someone in Young's inner circle to ask the league for help. The league offered counseling, but Titus Young turned it down. On May 21, 2012, the Lions sent Young home for 2 weeks after he sucker punched Louis Delmas on November 19th. The Lions sent him home again for his behavior on the previous day game against the Green Bay Packers. According to Lions coaches, Young deliberately lined up in the wrong position twice and got into a verbal confrontation with the receivers coach, Sean Jefferson. It was the last game Young played for the Lions. He was deactivated for the team's Thanksgiving Day game against the Houston Texans, as well as next week's game against the Indianapolis Colts on December 5th. The Lions placed Titus Young on injured reserve ending his season. To express his frustration, Titus Young tweeted about not wanting to play anymore if he did not get the ball. A little more than a month later, on February 4th, the Lions released Titus Young. On February 5th, 2013, Titus Young was claimed off waivers by the St. Louis Rams. The Rams were the only team that turned in a waiver claim for Titus Young. However, he was released 10 days later with the Rams, saying that he wanted to go in a different direction. According to Sports Illustrated, the Rams cut ties with him due to concerns about his behavior. He seemed lost in interviews with head coach Jeff Fisher and other team personnel, and threw a fit when he had to briefly barred from boarding a flight to Los Angeles after forgetting his ID. Again, in my personal opinion, if everything would have went according to plan, I'm pretty sure the Lions would have seen way more playoff appearances and maybe just one Super Bowl appearance, with Stafford being the young gunner that he was, Javid Best not getting hurt all the damn time, if Titus Young could have straightened up his act, that could have released some of the stress off of Calvin Johnson's back, and that could have opened up the field 2 times as more that they would have and could have and should have had. So it's crazy how all things fell apart for the Detroit Lions. If everything would have been, Gucci, their offense would have been probably unstoppable. It was looking good on paper, so you can't really tell unless it really happens. So yeah, I really do hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Titus Young, and leave a like, comment, subscribe, and alright, I'm gone.